What is up, Hardcore Nation? It's Hardcore Christopher here, and I'm going to explain why I left the roleplay groups that I did. The first situation that I'm going to talk about is the situation that happened with me in Alpha May. Now, Alpha May, I came in and I was writing by myself for the majority of the time. And it wasn't long until I found myself in hot water. I came in October. I want to say October 15th. And I left a month later. Simply because of one reason. I was not in a good headspace. That and when I left, there was only one person that said that they were sad to see me go, and of course we would still be friends. Now, I have asked to come back to Alpha May. Only problem, the GM hasn't given me a response, which I'm going to guess no response is a no. And I find that sad. But here's what happened. I was writing, and the way the consequence system works is warning. You receive a warning, then it goes up from there. So I got a warning for creating an NPC of the lichen species, along with other things. So I said that it would never happen again, and I was weary about writing after that. But it didn't take me long. By the way, the admins created a private message group, a private group chat for me, and it was titled 10/30/23 Office for Chris. Okay. So I received a verbal warning. No problem. So then, after multiple warnings, I received a week ban. And I got banned on a Thursday. But that wasn't a big deal because I was doing assignments and everything like that. So and on top of that, I received a second verbal warning on the suspension I was already serving because I messaged an admin way too much, and she brought that up in the office chat. Okay. So after my week ban was up, I decided to type out another an alternative backstory for my character Traumadov, and I posted it. And that didn't go over well at all. And what I mean by that is I wasn't even back 24 hours, and I had already, and we, and the office chat already saw action because of my actions. So, I told them it was my mistake, and I would ask one of the admin teams if anything before I post something, which I forgot to mention that was part of my suspension being lifted is because there was an assignment that I had to do where Traumadov would move from uh, from his home location, the Shimmering Forest, to the Luna Lands. The Luna Lands was like this safe. It was a safe place. However, I rushed it twice, and it wasn't until I read everything that I put 5.5 hours into writing his adventure. And it was passable. The only thing was that I forgot to give an NPC a reaction to Traumadov stealing the map. That's not realistic, is what I was told. Immortality isn't realistic at all. But, um, sure, it's not realistic. So I go back and forth with the admins, especially with this one named. Ah, I, I don't care. Named Fable. And she told me that I needed to think before I wrote. I said okay. And then I said that if you guys want to know, just so you know, I have a lot going on right now. And if you want to know more, I'll tell you about it. Just not here. It's way too personal. And they go, and they go, and Fable said, I'm sorry about that, but we just can't let people do whatever they want. And while I respect that, which I do respect everyone on the admin team, it's just for me they were way too strict. So I go back and forth and I said this. I said, because if I did that, I'm talking about letting my emotions come through in my role play. That is considered mixing. Mixing is where you allow your real life emotions to affect your role play and vice versa. I know mixing. I know it. I know it all too well. I have a friend that mixes like crazy, and I have to tell them, be careful, you're mixing. So I go back and forth, and I just told them, I just told her, I know what mixing is. So I'm going to be hanging out in out of character chat. So Fable said to me, you were told to drop this. Well, actually, not drop it. She said, we will let Magnus or uh, or Jess handle this. And that was her words. Or. Not and, or. I understand that it was a typo on her part. But here's the thing. Or and are two completely different words. Or means either Magnus or Jess will handle this. But and means we're going to we're going to continue this in we're going to continue this conversation when both of them are online. Here's the thing. I got banned while I was sleeping. So this is the way my ban worked now. And this is the reason why I left. And I understand it was completely my actions that got me here. And I take full responsibility for them. However, and well, I think I could have handled things a lot more better if I wasn't so bitter, if I didn't come in bitter and angry. And unfortunately, that never, that bitterness and that anger never went away. I probably should have taken a break from roleplay, but I did not. So, the way my ban worked this time is is I'm banned for 6 months. During this 6 months, questions are allowed, and the admins would answer them without fail. So I had questions. And I to the admin's credits, they did answer my questions, but I had more questions. Fable said that I metagamed, and I know what metagaming is. Metagaming is when you use out of character knowledge further your to further your character's story or interact with an NPC or something like that. So, this is what happened. So I go, I metagamed myself. She goes, you were using out of character knowledge. To figure out where the Luna lands were. Mm, I have mixed feelings about that. I do. So when I was banned for a week, I said the last thing I said during my week ban was I understand that I have a lot to work on. And I still do. In all honesty. And I said, I told them that I would ask if I wasn't unsure about something. But the thing is the way my mind works now, it's like I have to really put thought into things. And sometimes I forget. Actually, the vast majority of the times I forget. So, I told them, and uh, another friend of mine goes, okay, goes, why did you? Because I wrote an entry called Tramadov's Story. And Tramadov's Story is where I completely screwed myself. Because in Tramadov's Story, I was putting ages to his backstory. And in his backstory, he killed his parents when he was a child. But in Tramadov's Story, I made it to where he was 20 years old. Wrong thing to do, right? So, that was that, and I really explained it. It's the way my mind. I told them all. I go. It's the way my mind works, because my mind isn't what it used to be, unfortunately. Um, it is kind of hard to remember things, and I explained it to them, and they all sympathized with me. Well, Fable and Jess did. And but here's the thing. Jess said, "I'm really sorry that you're having medical issues." And then in the next sentence, she goes, "I don't know if I'm going to try to keep this PG here. I don't know if this is just mind games or or just attention seeking behavior." So I was banned for 6 months. And during the 6 month ban, I was removed from everything Alpha May wise. From the chats to even the Alpha May pages themselves. And I don't understand why that is. But it is. It was. And I wasn't even allowed to talk about my ban in the office chat. I was just supposed to stay silent for 6 months and think about what I did. Thing is, I already know what I did. It didn't take me long to figure it out, and it didn't take me long to plan a plan of action. And so, on a Sunday, I left, but I left because of this. I was asking questions, and I got told by the GM that she said, I'm pretty sure Magnus told you not to do this. You have questions? I suggest you read this chat from start to finish. We have answered enough questions for you. I'm like, I can't even ask questions. What? I mean, at the time, I'm like, what the hell is this? But after giving it time, it's like, I brought it upon myself. Now, for the other roleplay group, I left because my friends left, and then, well, now I'm back in that group. Weird how things come full circle. But hey, that's what happened. I'm Hardcore Christopher. Keep it hardcore, everyone.